I love my Nintendo Switch. Its portable home console hybrid design is still really impressive, and the library of great games available is huge, with even more coming in the future. But as much as I love this console, it still isn't perfect. There are lots of things that could be improved with the Nintendo Switch, like a better online service. But most of the time I find myself missing all the small details that past Nintendo systems had. When compared to some of their other consoles, the Nintendo Switch seems a little basic, and I think it's missing some key features that would help give it a lot more personality. Basically, I think the Switch needs more Nintendo magic, and I have some ideas that could help with that. These ideas range from tiny little changes to entire redesigns, and while I think all of them are possible, they aren't very likely. We're already almost 5 years into the Switch's lifespan, and it feels a little too late to make any major changes to the console. So remember that I don't actually expect all of these things to happen. This video is just for fun to see what could be changed to improve the Switch. I've sorted my ideas into 5 different sections, with lots of little mini changes in each. Hopefully all of them would add up to give the Switch that sense of Nintendo magic that previous systems had. And with all of that out of the way, let's get started. Usually one of my favorite parts of a Nintendo console is the system music. These are songs that play while you're on the main menu, creating a Mii in the Mii Maker, or browsing the Nintendo eShop. But strangely, the Nintendo Switch doesn't have any system music at all. Consoles like the Wii, Wii U, and 3DS all had system music, and even the GameCube had some ambient background music on the main menu. The Switch does have some fun sound effects that play when you click on certain buttons, but these really aren't a replacement for full-on music tracks. If the Switch had system music for the main menu, I think it would be a huge improvement. And it doesn't have to be anything too crazy, just keep the music simple like the 3DS and Wii U did. For example, here's the Toad Radar song from Paper Mario the Origami King played over the Switch home screen. I think menu music adds so much personality to the console, and I would love to see it added. And of course there should be an option in the settings to turn off the system music if you want to. The Mii Maker could really use some music too. It's such a shame that we went from this to complete silence. And the last bit of system music I think should be added is for the Nintendo eShop. Ever since the Wii, the eShop has had some fantastic music that plays in the background while you shop, and it does a lot to make using the eShop more fun. There's even some seasonal music that plays during the holidays that really gives the eShop a sense of Nintendo magic. The Switch eShop has plenty of other problems, but simply adding music would help so much. I don't even expect Nintendo to create totally new tracks. I'd be fine with them just reusing the Wii U and 3DS eShop music since it's so great. Just listen to how much of a difference adding in eShop music makes. Adding system music isn't the only way to make the Switch home screen better. There are lots of quality of life improvements that would help a lot. Probably the most requested one is folders, and I really don't know why this hasn't been added yet. Folders let you sort your games into specific sections and help clean up your home screen so it's more organized. Maybe you want a folder for all the indie games you've purchased, or maybe you'll put all the games you've completed into one folder. This tiny change would make such a big difference, and I really hope it happens someday. Another big one is themes. The Switch launched with 2 basic theme colors, black and white, and that's still all we have. The existence of this themes tab makes it seem like we would eventually get some more themes, but still nothing. The 3DS is the only Nintendo console so far to have themes, and they were amazing. For just $2 you could buy super awesome menu themes that were based around certain games and franchises. The themes also came with their own specific music and UI sounds, which was really cool. For me, I always loved getting season-specific themes and using them during all the different times of the year. It's kind of funny because the 3DS even had some themes based around Nintendo Switch games like Super Mario Odyssey. I would even be happy if they added the basic color option themes like the 3DS had, so you could have a red or blue themed menu. Not only would Switch menu themes please the fans, but it would also be a new source of revenue for Nintendo, so I really don't get why they haven't done this yet. Another small little menu change I would love is being able to sort your games manually and zoom out to see more games at once like on the 3DS. Now there is an argument that adding all these features would make the Switch run slower and less efficiently, so of course there should be options to turn all of it off if you want to prioritize performance. These changes would make the Switch's menu screen so much more interesting, and would help give the system a greater sense of Nintendo magic. And we're back to talking about the eShop again, because this shop has a lot of problems. As I mentioned before, adding system music would help, but honestly I think the eShop needs a total redesign to fix all of its problems. I think the tabs on the side are way too big and clunky, so I would add a main home screen for the eShop like the Wii U had, where you can see some of the biggest games right now and scroll down to see more specific categories like franchises and game genres. I would also totally get rid of the newest releases section, since there are way too many games releasing on Switch these days. That section has turned into a confusing mess, and it's pretty much impossible to find any quality games to play there. Another big feature that should return from the Wii U's eShop is the ability to leave reviews for games. Not full written reviews, since that would get really complicated, but just being able to rate a game out of 5 stars would help people decide if a game is quality or not. And the Wii U also required you to play a couple hours of a game before you could review it, which was a really smart feature. I just think it's way too hard to find good, quality games on the Nintendo Switch's eShop. On the Wii, Wii U, and 3DS, I used to browse the eShop for fun because it was so well designed, but now I avoid using the Switch's eShop unless I really have to. Another thing the Switch is missing when compared to previous consoles is apps that are developed and published by Nintendo. The Switch is doing decently when it comes to third-party apps, although there still isn't Netflix for some reason, but there aren't any Nintendo apps like a web browser, music player, or Miiverse. Now I'm not saying that Miiverse should come back on the Switch or anything, although that would be kind of amazing. I just miss things like the Activity Log app where you could see detailed data about how much you've played games and when. I didn't get the Switch until a couple months after its initial launch, so I played Breath of the Wild on my Wii U at first, and I think it's so cool that I can look back and see how much I played that game in March of 2017. You can see a really basic activity log on the Switch, but it only measures every 5 hours of playtime, which isn't very precise. I also think that Street Pass should have returned on the Switch, since it's a portable console like the 3DS, and it would have been so cool to see all the people you've passed while on the go. I understand not wanting to crowd the app bar at the bottom of the home screen, so how about we get rid of that big ugly Switch Online app to make more room for something actually useful like a web browser. Nintendo-made apps aren't absolutely essential to have a great console, but it's a fun little thing on the side that helps give the system more personality and charm. I know I spent a ton of time in apps like the Music Player on 3DS, Miiverse on the Wii U, and even the Photo Channel back on Wii. And if it's too late for the Switch to get any big apps like these ones, then hopefully the next Nintendo console will launch with them included. And the last section is for all the tiny little details that make Nintendo consoles so fun. I feel that the Switch is lacking a lot of the small things I loved so much about past consoles. Here's a list of some of my favorites from previous systems. If you turn on the Wii U on your birthday, you'll be greeted with a special jingle and gold confetti, as well as some special deals on eShop games. When you download a new game or demo from the eShop on 3DS, it appears as a gift waiting to be unwrapped on your home screen. If you press X while using the Wii U web browser, it'll pull curtains across the TV screen and your Mii will appear to perform some magic tricks and entertain the audience. And while the Wii U eShop loads, you can play this little matching minigame that is full of different games you own. These are just some of the tiny magical details that Nintendo consoles usually have, but the Switch is missing stuff like this for the most part. There is some fun stuff, like the button presses to unlock the Switch making different sounds depending on what button you press, but I just think the Switch needs even more fun little Easter eggs and details. Maybe you could unlock secret profile pictures by completing certain objectives in games, like getting all 999 moons in Super Mario Odyssey. Or maybe by holding certain buttons while viewing a photo in your album, it would set it as your menu background. Or maybe some special Nintendo jingles will play randomly after you purchase a game from the eShop, like the Zelda Treasure Chest tune. I could keep going all day with these ideas, so I'll stop here. And those are all my ideas on how to give the Switch more Nintendo magic. Again, I don't actually expect any of these changes to happen. I just think it's fun to speculate about what could make the Switch even better. I still love this system, but I do miss a lot of the features from Nintendo's older consoles. But what about you? Do you think the Switch needs more fun features, or do you like it just the way it is? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see ya in the next one.